Coming up on City Spotlight, we're talking Charleston. We'll start on location at the 5 Mile House and talk with Tom Vance and Les Dallas of the 5 Mile House Foundation about the reconstruction of an 1880s barn that will become a blacksmith shop at the 5 Mile House, and what work is left to do on this historic structure. Then we'll have a segment on Eastern Illinois University with Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management, Josh Norman, on how EIU has grown over the past year. The focus is on Charleston, here on City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. Hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. We're taping another episode here on Charleston. We are on location for this episode at the 5 Mile House. Mother Nature has intervened today, so hopefully it is dry for our taping here on April 25th. We're at the 5 Mile House, as I mentioned, just south of Charleston. We have a barn being put back up, as we introduced 6 months ago, by these two gentlemen to my left, Les Dallas and Tom Vance of the 5 Mile House Foundation. Gentlemen, it's great to have you on again.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. A little jury, but we're here, and you guys have done a little bit of work here since we last talked. We talked with Tom and Les late August 2018, again 6 months ago. The barn that is behind us that has been worked on recently was originally 3 miles to our east here on Westfield Road, deconstructed there in the first part of August, last August. It was taken down. The wood was taken over to Knoxville, Illinois by Trillium Dell Timber Works.
Yes.
And so let's catch up on what's happened since we last talked and to the point of things getting going, which again, we're taping April 25th. And so about a month ago or so, you guys started building it back up. Tom, what happened when the wood went over to Knoxville?
Trillium Dell has a large shop over there. They got a like 35-foot sawmill, and they totally reworked the timbers. They had to add a lot of new timbers, and they the timbers on the original farm, some of them were farther gone than what we anticipated, and so they replaced some, they reconfigured some, but we still have a lot of the original timbers in our new barn. So they spent the winter doing that, and then notified us they would be ready to bring it back in March. And so, and we had to get the concrete foundation in, and which we did in early March. And Trillium Dell came back the last week of March and spent 3 weeks here putting it back up.
Okay, very good. Yeah, you did mention sometime around this time, and we're here and we're taping, and the work has been going on for the past month or so. Remind our folks at home again, what will be the purpose of the finished product here?
We will have a blacksmith shop in the barn, and so we'll have blacksmithing demonstrations, but we also have enough space that we can have programs in there, and we can make it available for community use, for groups to come in and hold events there. We also have some exhibits on the walls, and we're going to incorporate some of the original barn corn crib and granary on the walls, kind of as exhibits to see what the original was like.
Okay. Raindrops are starting to fall here, so we'll continue taping with you guys. So again, we're taping here on April 25th. You've been working on this for about 3 to 4 weeks with the structure since the concrete was poured down. Talk about the work that's been done over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Les, Tom, whichever one of you wants to tell us about. You're building the barn back up.
Well, the Esker Concrete out of T-Town, I think, did the foundation for us, and then Trillium Dell put the rough frame up, and then Gladue Roofing did what you see on the roofing thus far on it. So that's where we've got to today.
Okay. Tell us about the equipment. Again, we talked about the equipment that was used to deconstruct the barn. Any different kind of equipment or similar equipment that was used to build it up to this point?
We had a large telehandler out here that was making rather deep ruts from the road to here to get to get the material here. So the main equipment was telehandler and man lifts. for them to work off of there. So, and then the little old tractor back here has been grading ruts full every day since then. So
Yeah.
When I pulled up here, I obviously saw the work area that you had, and you used a couple words to describe the area that you have now. How challenging has it been to work through the early part of spring?
It slowed them down.
a week. It slowed them down a
The
week.
telehandler's like a big crane that has like 3-foot wheels, and those are buried to the axle. And they had a hard time, even getting through the ruts and whatnot to get materials to the barn. And they had scissor lifts inside that, raised up to work on different things. So, but they had plywood down over the rock to move those around. So that worked pretty well. But, you'd hardly know how bad it was that Les has been using his tractor here and he's worked his magic.
How challenging, Les, has it been to folks who probably cannot see it on our two cameras as we're taping here, but just off behind you guys to our east, looks like a lot of where the big vehicles came on. How challenging was it to get your vehicle off of Westfield Road up here into this area?
Well, a lot of the time you couldn't get them off the road. The vehicles, the equipment had to come up here, so the telehandler moved the material here, or the tractor with a set of forks on it moved material up here and helped move it out too. So the tractor's never been so dirty as it is now.
But it'll all be for a good cause.
It'll all be for a good cause.
As you guys mentioned 6 months ago when we first talked about this barn project, it's an 1880s barn. It'll be a little bit smaller than its original structure. Again, the size of what the finished product will be.
Original barn was 40 by 50 and ours is going to be 30 by 40.
Okay, so a little bit smaller.
Yeah, a little smaller, but it's what fit the space, and a lot of the materials in the original barn were not reusable, so
Okay.
we had to downsize a little bit.
All right, we're going to progress on here. Mother Nature is definitely a part of this interview now.
Yes.
It's good though. What's left to be done here as we tape April 25th?
They got to put the roofing on, which will be a metal one piece or one length
And
roofing.
some of that roofing has started.
Well, the purlins are on for it.
Purlins.
But here in this large box here on the ground is the roofing itself that's going
Like
on.
metal sheets.
Right.
And once it's on, then the siding, there's 2 layers of siding to go on. And then there'll be floor laying, and there'll be brick laying, there'll be a little bit of electrical, all kinds of stuff going on.
We'll have to build the forge for the blacksmithing. So.
And one thing, Tom, that you mentioned beforehand, before we started taping, that you kind of have to wait for contractors that are responsible for different aspects. How many different sets of contractors do you have kind of helping you put this thing back together?
Well, we've got a roofing contractor, and we'll have a different one to actually put the siding on, and then another one to put the brick floor down, and then yet another one to build the forge. So in addition to Trillium Dale and the concrete, so probably 7 or 8 by the time we're done.
All right. So folks at home are seeing this for the first time, early May. What is the timetable? Don't have too many days like this, you're not going to get much done, but what is your estimated timetable for completion? When can folks expect this to be done so they can start visiting it here at the 5 Mile House?
Well, it will be done enough, probably by summer.
Okay.
Have the siding on by summer, I'm sure. And then, we'll do the brick floor and some of the other work over the summer. So they can come out, this summer and kind of see work in progress even.
Yeah, it is spring. More days will probably look a little bit better than today. But again, re-emphasize the importance of preserving historic landmarks and places like this, and what kind of an addition this is going to be to the already historic 5 Mile House.
It'll give us a lot more programming options. It'll give us more space for, like on rainy days when we have school groups, we can take them out to the barn for activities, and give us a lot more flexibility on what we're doing. And it's preserving some of the historic culture of the area. And we'll have some exhibits in there that will document the original barn and exactly how that was built. So,
Les, any final thoughts here as we wrap up taping this segment with you? Your thoughts on putting this barn back up?
Well, it's looking a lot better right now than it did a month ago, so I'm proud to see it where it's at.
And for you guys really get down and dirty and get in there. And I taped you guys last August, helping tear it down. Labor of love, worthwhile to put this back up. It must be very satisfying to be a part of this project.
Yeah, we've had an incredible committee, and Les has been one of the main ones putting this together. But we got a committee that's hardworking. We've raised, we're gonna, by the time it's done, close to $200,000 for the project, and the community has stepped up to help us do that in a big way. So we're very appreciative for everybody's efforts.
Well, the community appreciates your efforts for helping preserve history here at the 5 Mile House, just south of Charleston, Route 130, Westfield Road, this area. The barn will be ongoing, so if you come by and check out this area, they'll be working on it through the summer, and we look forward to seeing the finished product. Tom Vance and Les Dallas of the 5 Mile House Foundation. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you again on City Spotlight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you for standing here in the rain. Coming up here next on City Spotlight, we'll have a segment here on Eastern Illinois University with an extended cut of Josh Norman's EIU This Is Who We Are story. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Charleston.
This past year has really been one for the record books, so just extremely unique. And I think what makes it so unique has been just the unprecedented momentum. It's just been incredible to experience, and I knew something was different as we started this last enrollment cycle, just as I saw the campus pulling together. And I think about things like the academic innovation. I think about the new neuroscience degree. I think about the criminology and criminal justice programs, that academic innovation that was going on, coupled with development of partnerships and dual credit with the second largest high school district in the state of Illinois. Just incredible relationships occurring and being established, and just the campus environment just was different. I mean, it was just incredible to see our faculty just pouring themselves not just into the classroom and our current students, but also into the new prospective students. I knew I could call up a faculty member in an instant. They would be at a recruitment event to talk about those academic offerings and those experiences and what makes EIU so different. Our staff, just their support and their willingness when family was lost, to assist those prospective students and just really embody the support that we're so known for. I think about the marketing effort, just the brand new re-envisioning of who we are. It's who we've always been, but just the ability to communicate that succinctly over this past year has just been fantastic in our print materials, in television advertisements, in movie theaters. It's just been awesome to see that message prevalent across the state market and the continental U.S. Because we really do have something unique here. And that is a culture committed to student success and individual attention. When I think about our faculty to student ratio, just don't get that in public higher education. What you see here, that attention to the individual, those class sizes that are around 20 students, it's just incredible. And so to see that message hit the marketplace was it was fantastic. And just to be a part of that process of bringing those advocates, our alum, our current students, to come in and just tell their stories. There was a particular activity that was really impactful for me, and our students were writing these thank you cards to the university. Thank you for the love, the care, the support, the new family that you've given me that has allowed me to succeed, to know that I can go out into the world and make a difference. Just incredible. And that really was the foundation for that branding and marketing exercise. And so it's just fantastic to be a part of that. And then this last year to see those billboards go up, to see the social media advertisement, just the messaging that we know is such a part of who we are. And I think that's why it's so authentic, because it's who we aspire to be and who we are at the same time. So that marketing piece was just so amazing, and just the campus unity and commitment to the mission of bringing students to this campus that are the right fit, who can succeed, who need that caring support, while also benefiting from the academic rigor that we're known for. So this past year really was different. And I think the moment when I realized, hey, we are all in, not just for our current students, but for our prospective students, was in January. We did a marketing and recruitment update. And so we invited the campus to come. We're going to bring these academic departments that are doing these incredible things, English, biology, education. They're talking about creating social media presences. They're talking about doing these events in the high school. There was a member, Dr. Colombo from the biology department, talking about dissecting drumfish, their eardrums to tell, how old they were, and just what an impact that had on grade school students. They're like, EIU is the place I want to be, because there are faculty members who care about the subject matter, who will care about me. So we had that event, and I come in that morning and it's snowing, and I'm like, oh my, nobody's going to be here. The weather is terrible. And I remember walking into the lecture hall in Doudna, and just the room was just packed. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is just an incredible evidence of the fact that we are in this together. As a campus, it takes everyone to see the results of those students who are that right fit, who can come here and succeed, to get that incoming class. And so that was an incredible feeling. I just remember that moment, and it was just palpable, the momentum, the unity. It just was awesome. And so the outcome of that, this past year for fall 18, we had a 24.5% increase in our incoming class. I mean, we've been waiting to see that kind of unprecedented increase for some time. So it was just awesome to see that come to fruition, but more than that, just to look back on that past year and think about all those things that were accomplished through the vitalization process, through that academic innovation, through the collective work of the campus, coming together and envisioning our future and taking that large step forward. So it really was, this last year really was an incredible year for us. Even in the area of technology, the growth and development was just incredible. As we develop our client relationship management system, some of that functionality put us on the cutting edge of maintaining and supporting and delivering information to our new and incoming students. So that was fantastic. Just the innovation overall in the area of technology just was the amount of work that was done and the projects completed were just unprecedented. So just awesome to see that too. But the most important thing about this last year was it really was that first major step forward in the future that we have envisioned for this university, and that's moving to a structure and a student composition that maximizes our student success. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's the vision of our administration. Let's get to a place where we fiscally we're where we need to be, but more importantly, we have the number of students on this campus where we can serve every single student to our maximum capacity. Every single student gets the level of support and resources that they need in order to not just succeed, but we want to be a place that generates world changers, and we have been. And we've got some incredible students. The level of advocacy from our alumni this past year, just our alumni advocacy network grew at an incredible rate. And just was amazing to see our educators, the educators that we are educating at this institution, out at their high schools, talking about how great Eastern is to their students, and seeing those students come in to our daily tours, come into our open houses, and those advocates are right there beside them. That was awesome. But back to that point of moving us into the future. This really is that first step toward the organization, the institution, the educational system that we can be. Like that we know that we're working toward and making progress toward becoming, and who we've always been. And that's just an institution that is composed of students and faculty and staff who are, I love this part of our marketing campaign, all in for student success. Yeah, all in for student success. We want to be a place that generates world changers that are going out and they're changing their industry, they're changing, they're meeting needs, they're going out and they're making a difference. And so really, as we envision the future of this institution, it's an institution that has a number of students that our infrastructure is capable of meeting those needs on a mass level and on an individual level, all for the goal of seeing those students succeed. Our admissions team is just incredible. Under the leadership of Kelly Miller, our individual counselors, just their teamwork and their cohesiveness and their synergy right now is just incredible. And it takes a team like that, because not every member of the team has the knowledge necessary to properly inform the prospective student. I've got admissions counselors who are experts on Greek life, and I've got admissions counselors that are expert in academic areas, and I've got admissions counselors that are experts in extracurricular activities, registered student organizations. The level and the desire and the needs of the prospective student are different based on an individual person. It's impossible to say, okay, if we cover this material, if we cover this information, we're going to meet the student's needs. And that's where it really is a relationship-driven process. We've got to generate relationships with these prospective students to find out, what are you passionate about? I think about one of our admissions counselor. It's late in the enrollment cycle, and this young man comes in, and we're talking to him about the incredible academic area where he's interested. He's interested in economics, and so we're talking about the incredible professors, and the light just isn't going on. So when we start talking about scholarships available, and he's interested, but the light just isn't going on. But then we start talking about our registered student organizations. We start informing him about our Gamers Guild, and the light goes on. I mean, it was all about his interest, his passion. The scholarships were important, the academics were important, but it was that ability to pursue his passion here at Eastern Illinois University that helped him realize we're the right fit. And that's the word that we continually hear from these prospective students, is fit. They're looking for the right fit. And because of our wide range of academic offerings, those plethora of registered student organizations, our vivid Greek life offerings, more often than not, when a student finds their fit, it's because they're being delivered the information that they need in order to make that decision. And sometimes we're too small for some students, but very rarely is that the case. But it really is an individual, relationship-driven process when it comes to what a prospective student goes through as they're trying to make their college choice.
City Spotlight is on YouTube. Past episodes can be viewed on East Central Illinois towns that have been featured on City Spotlight. Just search on YouTube City Spotlight with the show number and the name of the town. Listed on your screen are the recent episodes of City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.